the ship is drifting, but the captain's at a party. Pretoria answered the call, like it gone to sleep, but God me stand tall. In the harbor of Durban, the seal ships ride. The ANC days a game of seek and hide. They call for the exercise in like the east wind, and point to Beijing and say they're the ones who sin. So I was under this, I guess, at the gate. Now they say who invited them, it must have been fake. Confusion in the Union building, shadows on the wall. Now the truth gets buried in the marble hall. Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it the suit in the office, or the gun in there? Oh, that from the Congo to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rock start to skip a beat. No books for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the dollar to go take a rest. And she speaks of an inquiry, a court to be won, but the days turn to weeks and the paper is torn. No answers coming down as the heavy silence, while the heroes in the bush face no rebel violence. Set to the jungle with no wings in the sky, only 3 helicopters, how can they fly? No medevac coming when they let us to rain. Chased by the rebels, oh the pride and the pain. No uniform, no boot, no boots, oh wait, look at the budget for the big salute. P7, 2 million for retirement spree. Modern Navy is sinking beneath the sea. Not a submarine moving, not a sailor in sight, but the body lights are burning to the Pretoria night. The chief of defense, he's a law to himself. The commander of the Navy puts the stay on the self, defying the podium, ignoring the sir, while the ghost of the fly starts to wake and to stir. And what's this whisper? What's this dark news? The chairman charged with murder, and he's the one they choose. Promoted to the top, while the dockets go forward. Is this the new story that's being told? Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it Siren? Is it Lange? Cause Ronnie understand. Oh, from the Crown Hope to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rope start to skip a beat. No boost for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the tenor on the moat. Take the rest. The generals are dancing, the politicians are glancing, the money is vanishing, and the soldiers are wandering. Who's the boss? Siren. Who's the boss? Anki. The military's gone rogue in the sun, but parade has only just begun.
Leave the Cape behind. There's a brand new horizon for us to find. From the streets of Joburg to the Pretoria sun, a new chapter starting and it's just begun. It's not Santon, baby, and it's not Margate. We're trading the reef for the Lone Star State. No JRU or the South Fork Crew, just a red, white, and blue welcome waiting for you. From Bosnia's hills to the Botswana sand, he's carried the fire all across the land. Peace in the heart of the West. No more looking back at the shadows and gloom. In the land of the brave, there is plenty of room. Grab a plate, grab a hand, feel the Texas heat. There's a whole lot of love at this meet and greet. The colonel is coming, yeah, he's leading the way to the greatest nation where we're going
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good morning, folks. Good afternoon. If you find yourself points further east than the eastern coast of the United States, it's the Indaba Africa News Program with Chris. Welcome back. We're live in our studio here in central Pennsylvania, and my Chinese clock is once again off. It's 11:10, not 11:09. But welcome back. I hope you enjoy the music there. Who's in charge? A statement referring to the rogue behavior of the South African National Defense Force. At least that's how it appears in the press. Is that really the case? And beyond that, of course, was the Colonel's big Texas meet and greet. Ladies and gentlemen, without even realizing it, because of the weather situation, rescheduling our event for this coming week. Hang on. Without even realizing, okay, sound is good. Just double checking the sound. Because of that weather-induced rescheduling, we actually are going to have the big Texas meet and greet on the anniversary of Donald Trump's executive order authorizing the evacuation of South Africans fleeing from racial persecution in South Africa. 1 year to the day. 7 February, we'll be in Argyle, Texas, north of Fort Worth, and we'll have a big meet and greet there. It's, by all accounts, people claim it's going to be huge. I don't know. I'm not going to make any boast. We've had meet and greets where over 500 people showed up at Opiplas, which was pretty insane. I don't know how big this is going to be. If it's 10 people, great. If it's 40 people, fantastic. If it's 100 people, wow. If it's more than that, whoa, knock my socks off. But there are South Africa FGs who are flying from Colorado to Dallas to join us for this event, among others. What an incredible... I have to make a banner for this. It's the 1 year anniversary. It didn't even dawn on me until last night. I was sitting here and I'm like, wait a second, that's the 7th. It's been a year. Wow. Also, by that time, we'll have an updated statistic, most likely, on the number of South Africans who've come over through the program, because the data gets released by the government around the 4th or 5th. Let me see if I can't find the bookmark for that. Come on, manage bookmarks. Here we go. I'm looking for, is there anything? Okay. I think this is it right here. Let's see. Yep, that's the one. Let's see if it's here yet. So last report is December 31st. Reports are posted on the 5th of the following month, or on the Monday if the 5th is on a weekend. So it'll be Thursday this will be published. So on Thursday, after I fly, we'll find out how many South Africans have arrived in the United States in January. And it will be likely a bumper crop, no pun intended, for your H-2A visa holders. No pun intended. By the way, I did watch episode 3 last night of Belofte Land, and it wasn't too bad. Although I think it was a bit gratuitous to, I don't know. It's okay. But the people, the South Africans who immigrated here, not refugees, that's who were the focus of episode 3. The H-2A guys were fantastic. Their interviews were pretty good. Talk about how hard they work and how great and safe and wonderful it is. Then the people who live in Los Angeles, of course, they live in Los Angeles. What do you expect? It's great here, but it isn't the same. Oh, we're great here. Yeah, but you still live here 30 years later, don't you? Oh, but I go to bed every night in South Africa. No, you don't. You went to bed every night in South Africa. You'd have bars on your windows. You'd have alarms. You'd have dogs. You'd have guns. You'd be terrified you're going to be murdered and raped every night if you lived in South Africa. But you live in Los Angeles. So saying that every night I go to sleep in South Africa, please. I get the point. You miss your home. But you know what? You can go back. You can go back. You don't have to be here. Anyway, but they did make a very good point in that episode, and that is that it's not easy. You miss home. But look, those people left so long ago, things weren't bad when they left. They all left 15, 20, 30 years ago. Those things aren't bad when they left. They were probably never experienced the horrors but things are so bad in South Africa now that I suspect many of the people coming over, although normally it's difficult to make the transition to move from one place to another and never go home, I suspect a lot of people will be just grateful and thrilled that they're out of it and they don't care. Exactly. Yolande says, wish I lived in America anywhere. Exactly. So yeah, it's so episode 3 was okay. It was balanced. I thought Ron van Heerden and his team did a pretty good job on it. They went to a Springbok bar in Los Angeles in Van Nuys. I'll have to get there one day. I wonder if I walk into the Springbok bar in Van Nuys if anybody will recognize me. I know that in Lyon, France, after I hiked up that freaking mountain, not realizing there was a freaking, cable car that takes you up to the cathedral, I could have saved myself all the pain and agony. When I hiked up that hill, I went down that way. It was a lot easier. But I ran into Americans and a couple South Africans who lived in Los Angeles who knew who I was from my rugby ascendant. So that was pretty wild. East Coast Ostrich says, after 2 weeks in America, I can honestly say I missed nothing South Africa. Wow. Please don't send them back. Oh, those people. Please don't forget about the 7% of Russians came back to South Africa. Yeah, where is that coming from? I haven't seen that anywhere. That's another one of the silly rumors. It's because people are stupid or they're just dishonest. It's probably a combination of two. People being dishonest, claiming that refugees will come home when it's not refugees. Their H-2A visa expires. They come home. People coming back for the holidays. That was a big thing in December. Oh, look at all these South Africans are coming back. Oh, it's all over. It's all lies. No. Sean Burr says, not everyone here lives in prisons, Yeah, I do. I'm well aware of that, Sean. I'm well aware of that. Julius Malema doesn't live in a prison. Fikile Mabalula doesn't live in a prison. Herman Mashaba doesn't live in a prison. John Steenhuisen doesn't live in a prison. I know. Lots of people don't live in. Johan Rupert doesn't live in a prison. I know. Patrice Motsepe. I know. Went to interview Lucas. No, okay. All right, you guys are chatting amongst each other. Righty. Snippets, thank you for the 14 Rand. Divine Providence. Yeah, you mean having it on the 7th. Yeah, imagine that. Pretty wild. All right, so a lot of chat going on. Keep it up, folks. The chat drives people to chase. I see Dan is here. I missed that. Dan is in from the great state of Wyoming, which ironically, I didn't know this until sometime afterwards. I didn't know it when I was young. The great state of Wyoming is named after a county here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have a Wyoming county, and the state was named after that. Presumably, people from Pennsylvania must have moved out to Wyoming. I didn't know that. But yeah, Wyoming rocks. It's an incredible state. But of course, unfortunately, it sits next adjacent to the Yellowstone caldera, which one day will go, not in our lifetimes, hopefully, but it will. Yes, Garrett, he is falling out of favor in South Africa. Bars on doors, windows, extra gates, electric fencing, spy bot cameras, private security. Yeah, we live in a prison. Yep, says Charmaine. Yeah. Yolan says, I'm still here, but I've been approved. Okay. All right. Apparently, there ain't a secret weapon the drone carrier was going out to sea. Likely going to try and look for U.S. carrier. Well, good luck with that. That thing will be taken out by a phalanx. Take it down in a heartbeat. Those things are amazing. Those ship close in defense systems are amazing. Right. I'm in the process of making a video. I've already put my notes together for a video regarding a Afrikaner claim to Natal. And it will be interesting. I hope you look forward to seeing that. Can't wait to get out of here. Always afraid that things happen to us will happen again. Yeah, no doubt, Mariki. No doubt. All right, folks, lots of news. Let's go right into that. The first is this horrific story of a South African Air Force sergeant murdered by bodyguards for the local mayor on the R80 of all places. Who's driven on the R80? Who's been on the R80 at least 200 or 300 times or more? Passing over that ridge line, going north, headed up to Rustenburg, headed south back into Pretoria, or headed over to Hartbeespoort Dam. Wow. Wow. 8 p.m., returning from Air Force Base and murdered by bodyguards with an R5 rifle. Wow. Murder charge for mayor's guards after a South African Air Force sergeant shot during roadside stop. There's the couple, and he's been murdered. Shot in the head. Air Force Sergeant Michael Swanton was shot in the head after approaching a blue light BMW carrying Matabang Mayor Douglas Maimane and his bodyguards. After they murdered him, the guards calmly drove the mayor home. Yes. Tabang Eugene Sohole, 41, and Michael Makampa, 42, briefly appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court today on charge of murder and defeating the ends of justice in connection with the killing of Sergeant Swanton. Their bail applications were postponed for 4th February. An Air Force sergeant was traveling with his wife Stephanie along the Mabopane Main Road, that's the R80, on Wednesday evening when a black BMW X3 fitted with a single blue light signaled them to pull over. Stephanie was driving their Ford Figo, complied. According to City Press, she said in her statement the two men dressed in civilian clothes exited the BMW, one armed with an R5 and the other with a 9mm, and confronted him about the Figo's missing rear number plate. The vehicle had recently been returned from panel beaters. The mayor was reporting inside the BMW at the time, did not get out of the vehicle. Apart from blue light mounted on the windscreen, the BMW bore no markings identifying his official car. After the guards returned the BMW, Swanton is said to approach the front passenger window to ask for identification. It was then police alleged the driver fired a single shot through the open window, striking Swinton in the head. He died at the scene. The two accused, along with Maimani, drove away immediately after the shooting. Left him to die there. They had been at the Swartkup Air Force Base and left there at 8 p.m. Hey, Neil, what's going on? How are you and your new friend, Keith Alderson, doing? Enjoy teasing you guys about that. Bodyguards of the Madabang mayor in court after murdering an Air Force sergeant. VIP protection officers arrested for the murder of South African Air Force Sergeant Michael Swanton. Debbie Fox, 350 Rand. Can't wait for the Texas live broadcast. Well, hopefully it will be live. We're working on it. Yeah, the deceased then followed them to check their identification, establish whether they were police officials. Lawful authority stopped and questioned them. As he approached BMW, he was shot in the head and died at the scene. They handed themselves into the Hercules police station, where they claimed they'd been victims of an attempted hijacking and a shooting had taken place. Oh, well, that's going to come back to haunt them. I figured they'd get away with it by making an excuse that he presented a clear and present danger to the mayor by approaching the vehicle, and they had to react. I thought that would be their excuse, but they lied. They said they were victims of attempted hijacking and the shooting taking place. What scumbags? People just openly kill each other in South Africa. Particularly, this stuff almost never would have happened during apartheid. People were terrified to murder white people. Now, life for white, black, and brown people holds no value whatsoever. They just murdered him. Unbelievable. Wow. Well, that's going to come back to haunt them. They claim they've been victims of an attempted hijacking. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. VIP protectors in court over fatal shooting of Air Force Sergeant. Two police VIP protection officers appeared in Pretoria Magistrates Court on charge of murder and defeating the ends of justice. Wow. A few hours later, the two accused handed themselves over to the Hercules police station, claiming they were victims of attempted hijacking and a shooting that occurred on the R-80. Yeah, the shooting occurred when you murdered an Air Force sergeant, a father of two, at least two. I don't know how many more. That was in the photograph. Wow, unbelievable. Well, the Mueller family is getting a little bit of attention. This is courtesy of an interview by Rapport, which appears in City Press and also in Rapport. But the author did not put these quotations around there, just so you know that. Don't blame the journalist. I hosted the interview, and Rowan Fredericks, the journalist, is true to his word. He wrote a balanced article about Anthony and Elvira, former guest on my program. Thank you, Misty, for your membership. And hi, y'all. Chris, been a while, so I have to miss the first one. That's a bummer. I can't wait for the second when we go outside. Thank you for the 70 Rand super chat there. Not sure you're talking about first one. First what, meet and greet? First meet and greet was in South Africa in 2022. Colored refugee family says Trump's program is not only for white Afrikaners. Wow, JJ Neuhoff, nothing will happen to them. Well, that was my first thought, but now that they've lied, they've put themselves in a bind. So nothing probably will happen to them, but now it's pretty obvious that their story is bogus. Pretty damn obvious it's bogus. He was unarmed. He didn't pull anybody over. They were pulled over. Yeah, I don't know if any witnesses stopped to help them. No, I haven't seen the names for East London and Graffernet. Yeah, more racism and racial persecution. Cities that didn't exist. Graffernet did not exist. There was no settlement there. East London did not exist. They created it. Now you're going to steal it. Monster Max, thank you for membership. You're very welcome. Family says people are shocked to learn that colored people can access Trump's refugee program. Yeah, well, they shouldn't be shocked. I've told people that for over a year. Almost a year this weekend. Loretta, his wife, was the driver of the vehicle. That's correct. Subpoenas for Brown Mahutsi and Paul O'Sullivan blocked by Deditsa. Toko Deditsa, the National Assembly Speaker, has blocked subpoenas. You might be saying, wow, she's trying to pervert the means of justice? No. what's happening is that both of them are feared for their life if they come to South Africa. O'Sullivan's overseas. He cited credible death threats as a reason for inability to travel. Mahotsi asked Parliament to fund his personal security detail as a condition if he was to appear in person. We already know that these witnesses and whistleblowers are being taken out left and right by a corrupt criminal cabal that the government does nothing to stop. Nobody's life is worth squat. We saw the recent Fundameva murder. Before that, we saw the execution or the assassination of Babito Deokaran. The list goes on and on. Anybody who speaks up in South Africa, the gangsters are so powerful, so influential, and own so many officials that your life is forfeit if you speak before these commissions. Fair enough. So I'm actually going to support Toko Didiza in her argument that they should not appear in person. They can appear on Zoom or Teams or one of those things. They don't have to be in person for this. You're simply putting their life in jeopardy, like you did with Fundameva. Unbelievable. They report, well, yeah, now they report because South African media find a report on it. But nah, nobody reports when I report on it, bastards, for a year. Now they won't reach out to me, will they? Jacob Zuma Foundation dismisses the claims of Epstein connection, but he did go to dinner with a Russian supermodel, so good for him. The Zuma Foundation has lashed back at claims that former President Jacob Zuma allegedly rubbed shoulders with notorious child predator Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, now he's a child predator. They take the P word out. MK party leader set South African tongues wagging after his name appeared in the latest release of Epstein files. Yep. Talking about the supermodel, she was a delight last night and enchanted all those she met. Her beauty apart, she displayed an elegance and natural charm that is a rare combination to find anywhere these days. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The Jacob Zuma Foundation says the matter is closed. Well, they made a good point about it yesterday. And indeed they did. Zuma had dinner with a sex offender and model. Yanni denies any wrongdoing. Yep, and they're right. Yep. I can declare any law null and void, says the Abatembu King Dalanyebo. Interesting. Abatembu King Dalanyebo has defended his decision to facilitate a visit by Israeli embassy officials to public hospitals in the Eastern Cape. Dalanyebo insisted that no law or constitutional provision compels him to account to either the president or the provincial government. That's true. There's no legislation, no constitutional premise that actually enforces me to account to a president or to a premier or whatever nature or whatever kind. We held in-depth discussions with their CEOs on cooperation with Sheba, Israel's largest and most comprehensive hospital. The hospital is ranked 8th among the world's best hospitals. Yep. King Dalanyebo dismissed this controversy, saying the visit was lawful and is being unnecessarily politicized. People are making an issue out of something that's not even an issue. The visit is, of course, by its own merit on legal premise. As royalty, we have no law that actually restricts us from any international interaction, from any bilateral relations with any country. He argued the public hospitals do not belong to the state but to the people, and that as monarch, he was their primary custodian. Well, that's debatable. That's debatable, but he has a right to have them come there. But that's debatable. Leon Levy. Of course, the Freedom Charter was written primarily by South African white Jews, not the ANC, not black supremacists, but white Jews primarily. And one of the last ones dies. The last surviving signatory of the Freedom Charter has died at the age of 96, Leon Levy. He and his identical twin Norman, who died in 2021, were giants of South Africa's liberation struggle. Born in 1929, the twins were the youngest of 4 children of Mark and Mary, immigrants from Lithuania who settled in Johannesburg suburb of Yeoville. Their life was protest, picket lines, interrogation, torture, solitary confinement, jail, exile, and eventually democracy. He became a member of the Jewish socialist movement, Hashomer Hatzar, which had groomed anti-apartheid radicals like Baruch Hassan. He joined the Communist Party. Yeah, so good riddance. Yep. Became a trade unionist. Good riddance. He helped organize the Congress of the People. The Freedom Charter adopted in 1955 shifted the anti-apartheid struggle to protest against single political issues to a challenge for power. The Charter's 6 signatories were ANC President Lutuli, Jimmy Laguma of South African Colored People's Congress, Monty Nyker of the Natal Indian Congress, Congress of the Democrats Pierre Bielefeld, and Leon, who signed on behalf of SACTU. Yep. the last of the signatories of the Freedom Charter, has passed away at the age of 96. Well, Joseph Malema is desperately seeking attention. Or is he desperately seeking Susan? He likes white gals, we don't know which. Malema wants free water and electricity for SASA recipients paid for by the rich. Well, how about you pay for it, buddy? You've never earned a penny in your life. EFF leader Joseph Malema is proposing free water and electricity for the poor, arguing rich people must pay more to subsidize basic service for those living in poverty. Why? Why? They're already stealing the water anyway. Why? Why? He also advocates automatic voter registration for young South Africans. We said in Parliament we want every child who becomes 18 to be automatically registered as a law in South Africa because it's their civil duty as a citizen to vote for a party of your choice. Yeah, sure. Sure. No. Voting is a privilege, and people should keep that in mind. Well, is it typos or intentional sabotage? Mhlanga grills ballistics expert over the Aman Swart murder blunders. Murder for Einiging engineer Aman Swart. This is what said in most serious events ultimately resulted in Nandla Mkwanazi claiming that criminals had infiltrated the criminal justice system. Ballistic expert Captain Lawrence Makoloy admits his first report in the murder of the Swart could have seen the suspects in the case walk free. I accept that, commissioners. He said, the proposition I'm putting to you is that the error is quite material. It's important for the outcome of any criminal proceedings because you cannot link the crime scene to the murder weapon. Someone will go scot-free. Wow. He was shot 23 times. And the ballistics expert, morons. This is what happens. You hire people based on skin pigmentation, not their qualifications. Is he qualified to be a ballistics expert? Obviously not. A 7,000 Rand payment and escape to Mozambique. The DJ Waris murder. A Mozambican national was reportedly confessed to killing Warwick DJ Waris, according to an insider close investigation. He allegedly received 7,000 Rand, cut off his dreadlocks, and fled to Mozambique following the shooting. A Soweto taxi boss accused of mastermind the hit remains in custody. Armindo Joaquim Pacula was arrested Friday evening and made his first appearance in Johannesburg Magistrates Court on Monday under heavy police guard. He is allegedly identified as co-accused Soweto taxi boss Victor Matalawakwai Mojola as the mastermind behind the hit at the Zambezi building. 7,000 Rand to take a man's life. Jeez. Fuel prices will drop again in the communist-run South African Republic, where the government controls the price of fuel illegitimately. Ministry of Mineral and Petroleum Resources announced that a petrol price cut of 65 cents per liter, with diesel set to fall by 50 cents. This is after January fuel decreases of 66 cents for petrol and 1 Rand 50 for diesel. State control. Controlled pricing. An Afrikaner separatist group is calling for restoration of its land in what is known as KwaZulu-Natal province. Ooh, it's getting spicy up in here. Afrikaner separatist group lays claim to KwaZulu-Natal, cites colonial dispossession. Boervolk invokes the UN decolonization resolution to claim millions of hectares across eastern South Africa. Afrikaner separatist group Oranje Vrystaat Boervolk has laid claim to large parts of South Africa, including KwaZulu-Natal, claiming their land was dispossessed by Britain in the 1840s in a manner exposing the fault lines of the country's colonial past. Emboldened by President Trump's Greenland claim, the Boervolk is relying on UN Resolution 1514 from 1960 regarding the abolition of colonialism as a legitimate form of international state structure to claim ownership of about 9 million hectares of land. In a government gazette published on Friday last week, the Boervolk said Britain was, and the democratic state is, in illegal possession of their land and territory, specifically KwaZulu-Natal and northern parts of the Eastern Cape. Take further notice that Britain did not just colonize the region, but they also expropriated the private farms of the Boer people in the eastern region without compensation, for which restitution of land and title deeds, lost income and amenities, and hardship which we had to endure must now be returned and reimbursed to the burghers of the Boervolk. The current government of the post-1994 administration of South Africa is urged and invited to enter into dialogue with the acting Volksraad of the Republic of the Orange Free State. so that a smooth, seamless, and peaceful succession of governance in the here above mentioned territories and land to its legitimate rightful owners, the Boervolk of the Orange Free State, and the Boervolk as a whole, can be facilitated. Now, their claim is based on having purchased land from Dingane. I'll have a video out on that later. 4 people injured as part of a Joburg apartment building collapse in a transformer explosion. Good Lord. 3 security guards and a tenant in an apartment building in New Doornfontein suffered third-degree burns when a transformer exploded in the early hours Monday, causing part of the building to collapse. That's a pretty serious collapse there. Pepcore FinTech is exciting investors. Revenue soars 25% before the bank launch. Its financial services are outpacing retail sales. Pepcore's financial services and fintech operations are growing far faster than its retail business, strengthening the case for the group's planned move into banking. In a voluntary trading update for the 3 months ending in December, the Pep and Ackermans owner said revenue from its fintech segment jumped 25% to $4.8 billion, while financial services revenue surged 47% to $2.4 billion. The retail sales growth was modest, 3%. Wow, credit, payments, insurance, and digital service are becoming a central part of Pepcore's business, not just an add-on. Smart move to get into that sector. Kenyan job seekers, along with South Africans, are going off to fight wars in Ukraine and then claiming they didn't know any better. The Washington Post spoke to 4 Kenyans who fought in Ukraine and relatives and 9 other recruits as a secret pipeline funnels young Africans to Russia's military. Hundreds of Kenyans have been recruited by the Russian military to serve on the front line in Ukraine, according to former recruits and their families. Many have never returned. Most said they were tricked, offered civilian or safe security jobs, Russia only be handed a weapon and sent to the battlefield. Others were current or former soldiers who joined up as mercenaries, lured by promises of higher wages. Survivors described inhumane treatment by Russian commanders and harrowing scenes of slaughter. Post spoke to recruits or their family members in South Africa, Botswana, Tanzania, and Nigeria. Heard anecdotal accounts of fighters in Ukraine from 8 other African countries, including Ghana, Zimbabwe, and Cameroon. Hidden victims of the largest European conflicts since World War II. Victims, they went there of their own volition. How they're victims. Two of the injured Kenyans, neither of whom had military experience, said they were sent to fight in Ukraine with only a few days of training in a language they did not speak. They said, "Learn fast, we're taking you to war," said the first man, whose hands were lacerated by shrapnel from a drone strike. He crossed rivers full of bodies on his first day and saw most of his party killed. "I didn't even see people," said the second Kenyan, who suffered burns to his head and hands and separates. "It was just robots, drones shooting at us." Like others in the story, the men spoke on the condition of anonymity, fearing for their safety and for the fellow Africans still in the line of fire. Ukraine's foreign ministry said his government had identified 1,436 citizens from 36 African countries fighting for Russia. Those who aren't killed are often captured and imprisoned, survivors said, or wounded and prevented from returning home. Kenyan Grace Gatoni, 30, said her husband and father of the 4 children left for Russia on October 21st after being promised a job as a driver or cleaner. He was forced to sign a contract to understand and deployed to Ukraine. When they last spoke on November 19th, he asked for her prayers. A week later, she saw his body on Kenyan News Bulletin. And what is this for? The Washington Post, Kenya, longtime U.S. security partner in East Africa. What does that have to do with this? Nothing. It's shameful. They hate America, the Washington Post. Yep. Kenya, 53 million people. That's outrageous. When I was a kid, there were only 18 million people in Kenya. Nigeria charges 9 people with the 25 massacre that killed 150 people. Thank you, Angelo Benetti, for your super chat, Clouds Benedetti, the Clouds Gathering. Nigerian prosecutors filed 57 terrorism-related charges Monday against 9 men accused of carrying out a deadly attack in the Alwata community in Nigeria's central Benue state that killed 150 people. Charges filed at the federal high court in Abuja said the defendants had held planning meetings, raised funds, procured weapons, and mobilized fighters across several states before the June 13th attack, one of the deadliest rural assaults in years. Gunfire rocks Niamey. Residents report sound loud explosions. A couple days ago. Heavy gunfire was heard in Nigeria's capital, Niamey. Videos filmed by residents of the area showed streaks of light in the sky and the sound of loud explosions. The capital's Diore Hamani International Airport, housed in Air Force Base, is located 10 kilometers from Presidential Palace, and I've been there many, many times. Calm returned after 2 hours. Not clear what caused the gunfire. Was it another coup attempt or what? Who knows? No more reporting out of Niger since that happened on the 20th of January. The Gaza crossing to Egypt opened days ago, but the New York Times finally decided to report it. Israel and Egypt had agreed for months on how to resume operations at Rafah. It's largely closed since May of 2024. The sole border crossing between Gaza and Egypt reopened on Monday after being largely closed for 20 months. The reopening of the crossing in the Rafah area of southern Gaza will for the first time allow some Gazans who fled during the 2-year war to return home, but only in limited numbers. It's also expected to expedite the exit of thousands of sick and wounded people waiting for medical treatment abroad. "120 nations, including Iran, accuse Australia of human rights abuses." Iran accuses Australia of human rights abuses. Seriously? Iran. Iran and Iraq. Unbelievable. The government of Iran, which already has tense relations with Australia, represented by Fatima Mohammadi, alleged issues with Australia's human rights record. The Islamic Republic of Iran is deeply concerned about the violation of the rights of indigenous people, high level of human trafficking, persistent violence against females and girls, and systemic violence and abuse against people with disability in Australia. The Islamic Republic of Iran is claiming that that Australia is abusing women and girls. Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, Iran has summoned the European Union ambassadors to protest their correct designation of the Revolutionary Guard as a terror group. Look at these women oppressed in Iran. Iran said Monday it had summoned all the European Union ambassadors in the Islamic Republic to protest the bloc's listing of paramilitary Revolutionary Guard as a terror group. The move came as Turkey tried to organize a meeting between the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Iranian officials. Wow. So, the European Union finally does what they should have done ages ago, and now the Iranians call them on the carpet. Pakistani forces have killed 170 Baluch militants in just 48 hours, the highest death toll in decades. There's a suicide bombing from Saturday. That's the aftermath. Pakistani security forces killed 24 militants overnight in multiple raids in the insurgency southwest. Bordering Afghanistan raised the militant death toll to 177 in the last 48 hours. Police backed by the military have been conducting these raids in several areas against members of the outlawed Baluch Liberation Army since Saturday. The Baluch Liberation Army killed at least 18 civilians and 15 members of security forces, drawing widespread condemnation of political leaders across Pakistan for their murder of these people. Thank you, Angelo Benedetti, for becoming a team member. Appreciate it. New Zealand is negotiating with the United States over critical minerals. The claim before the Waitangi Tribunal covering the country's petroleum, natural gas, and minerals could impede a deal with the U.S. Hey, student, thanks for the super chat. You're going somewhere? New Zealand is in confidential negotiations with the United States on supply of critical minerals after Trump issued a proclamation January 14th declaring that countries that didn't sign a deal would be subject to tariffs. Having officially joined a trading partnership last year, New Zealand has been designated a foreign trading partner and could face tariffs if it doesn't negotiate. But a claim before the Waitangi Tribunal covering Maori rights to a share of the country's petroleum, natural gas, and minerals could potentially stymie the deal. Once again, kowtowing to people who destroyed the natural environment of that island chain. Thank you for the 21 Rand super chat. Clouds are gathering. The Iranians are delusional. The Australian capital is proposing a 5-gun limit per owner. The act is one of several states moving to tighten, that's the Australian Capital Territory, gun control following the Bondi massacre. Gun laws in the Australian capital are set to be tightened following the Bondi Beach terror attack. The Firearms Public Safety Amendment Bill of 2026 will cap firearm ownership to 5 guns with exemptions allowing up to 10 for sporting occupational reasons. New legislation is set to be brought to the ACT Legislative Assembly this week. So, their answer to Islamic fascists invading their country and then murdering people without any response from anyone because they're all disarmed is to further restrict gun ownership. So, did the Islamic fanatics who murdered all those people need 5 guns, 6 guns to murder all those people? No, they used 2. They used 2 guns. Stupid people. Stupid leftists coming up with stupid answers to solve problems that they created. Yeah, Australia's gone. It's gone. Danish veterans are pissed off at Donald Trump, and they're protesting outside our embassy in Copenhagen. Danish veterans staged protests outside the embassy. This happened in front of our embassy. Hundreds of Danish veterans, many of whom fought alongside U.S. troops, staged a silent protest Saturday outside the U.S. embassy in Copenhagen in response to Trump administration's threats to take over Greenland and belittling their combat contributions. Denmark has always stood side by side with USA, except when it was occupied by the Nazis. And we have showed up in the world's crisis zones when the USA has asked us to. We felt let down and ridiculed by the Trump administration, which is deliberately discarding Denmark's combat side by side with USA, Danish veterans and veteran support said. Words cannot describe how much it hurts us that Denmark's contribution and sacrifice to the fight for democracy, peace, and freedom are being forgotten in the White House. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Veterans first gathered at the monument honoring fallen Danish service members, then began marching to the nearby embassy where they will observe 5 minutes of silence, one for each of Denmark's services. Danish veterans are furious at how the White House rhetoric disregards the right of self-determination of Greenland, a territory of NATO ally Denmark. Self-determination? But Greenland is a colony of Denmark. Who's getting self-determination? I think these veterans are a little confused when that comes to that. Rising anti-Semitism across Europe is leading to fear for Jews and a new exodus. Jews in the Italian capital survived emperors, invasions, popes, and fascists over the centuries. The decision to leave is not taken lightly, but is something being discussed again amid the rising tide of anti-Israeli sentiment. Rome's Jewish community is modest, 13 to 15,000 people in a city of almost 3 million. But it is the oldest in Europe, with roots dating to the 2nd century BC. It's heart of the one-time Jewish ghetto on the banks of the Tiber. The Nazis sent more than 1,000 Roman Jews to their deaths in concentration camps. Sympathy for Israel spiked across Europe in the wake of the Hamas attack, but that quickly morphed into growing anger over the suffering Palestinians at the hands of the Israeli military. And Jews are the ones suffering as a consequence of it. Jew hatred is palpable. The U.S. has captured 3 narco-terrorist suspects and seized drugs worth $33 million. Every interdiction like this disrupts narco-terrorists and keeps deadly drugs from reaching our communities. The Coast Guard detained 3 suspected narco-terrorists in the eastern Pacific, northwest of Ecuador, preventing more than 33 million illicit drugs from reaching American borders. The arrests were made early last week by a crew of Coast Guard cutter Seneca as part of Operation Pacific Viper. The cutter Seneca interdicted a go-fast vessel northwest of Ecuador after a helicopter interdiction tactical squadron disabled the vessel from the air. Led the apprehension of 3 suspected smugglers and seized more than 4,400 pounds of cocaine. It's a lot. House opposition is mounting to the spending package that's supposed to be approved today. What's going on with the demon rats in Congress? The federal government is in a partial shutdown. The House may struggle to pass the second iteration of funding bill amid opposition from lawmakers of both parties. Our intention is by Tuesday to fund all agencies of the federal government except for that one, Homeland Security. Wow. There are Republicans who are opposing Homeland Security, and they should be primaried and removed from office. A federal judge has declined to block the federal government's immigration surge in Minnesota because they have the supremacy clause. They have the right to be there. A federal judge on January 31st denied Minnesota's emergency request to block the Trump administration deployment of thousands of federal agents to the Twin Cities. Trump will confront Colombia's Petro on drug allegations as U.S. overdose deaths decline. Drug overdose deaths in the United States have dropped by 21% through most of last year as the Trump administration escalates efforts to crack down supply and demand of illicit substances. Wow. The number of Americans dying from drug overdoses spiked to over 6 figures, over 100,000 during the Biden regime. Trump has been talking about this issue ever since before he became president and has tried to stop this, now taking action which is leading to concrete reduction in deaths. 21% less people die from drug overdoses, not all of which are from illicit drugs. Some of them are from prescription drugs, but most are illicit. And Trump is reducing that. Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine. He's selling it to the United States. He's not going to do it very long, let me tell you, Trump says. Well, Petro will be out of office soon anyway, so he leaves office this year. An estimated 73,000 people died from drug overdoses in the 12-month period ending August 2025, a 21% decrease from the 92,000 the previous year. Yep. Drug deaths peaked at 110,000 in 2022 during the Biden criminal regime. Yep. Drug deaths had decreased in 45 of 50 states in America. Trump says the UN has tremendous potential. I think he's being generous. And they can settle wars after he's gone. UN's not leaving New York. It's not leaving the United States because UN has tremendous potential. When I'm log around to settle the wars, the UN can. It has tremendous potential. Trump is funny. On the 30th of January, the New York Times, citing unnamed senior officials, said the UN might run out of money by July and forced to close its headquarters due to non-payment. I don't think it's appropriate. The UN is not leaving New York, and it's not leaving the United States. Wow. The number of people working at the bloated United Nations was reduced from 14,000 to 11,500 last year. The House GOP is searching for votes to reopen the government with a razor-thin majority, just 218 to 214 now. Won't be simple. Many House Democrats do not plan to support. No, most of them won't support the bill at all because they're scumbags. They hate America. Uncomfortable with supporting one part of the plan. $64 billion in funding for the Department of Homeland Security, including $10 billion for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Well, the left lied about the Trump tariffs, and they're still lying about it, even with graphs that present evidence to the contrary. The left loves to lie about the tariffs. So let's talk about that. New York Slimes, the effects of tariffs 1 year into Trump's trade experiment. 5 charts show the impact of the economy after a year of sweeping trade changes by the Trump administration. So, imports. U.S. imports. As soon as Trump took office, before the tariffs were even put into effect, dropped. Revenue skyrockets from the tariffs once they were put in effect a few months after Trump became president, topping out over $30 billion per month. The amount is small compared to the more than $2 trillion earned from income taxes, which is what I said, but it gives the government a significant new source of money for spending or paying down debt. The quarterly trade deficit collapsed to $300 billion, down from over $500 billion under Biden. Industrial production is up, but manufacturing jobs are down. Why? Because of automation and artificial intelligence and robotics. Been going on for decades. Can't blame Trump for that. But once these new factories are built, more and more people will be hired. The White House to begin work on a bill to end a partial government shutdown. That should be the House, not the White House. So the House is working now. Mike Johnson, we have a logistical challenge getting everyone in town because of the conversation I had with Hakeem Gestures. I know we've got to pass a rule and probably do this mostly on our own. Hakeem Jeffrey says masks should come off. Judicial warrants should absolutely be required and consistent with the Constitution, in our view, before DHS agents or ICE agents are breaking the homes of American people or ripping people out of their cars. Well, first off, when people obstruct traffic, they can be ripped out of cars. And when people fail to adhere to law enforcement, they can be removed. And these aren't American people. They're criminal alien invaders. Stop calling illegal aliens American people. They're not. A boy of 5 and his father returned from custody. And, of course, Ilhan Omar is there for the joy. 5-year-old Liam Conjano Ramos and his illegal father, Adrian Alexander Conjano Arias, are back in Minnesota. What the hell are they doing in Minnesota? Why are they in Minnesota? Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro, a demon rat, announced on Sunday that Liam and his father were released from the Dilley Detention Center in Texas and traveled back to Minneapolis. Liam is now home with his hat and his backpack. Judge condemned their detention as driven by perfidious lust for unbridled power. No, it's removing people who have no business being in the country. Now, what they like to say is the family was not eluding ICE in any way. They were following all the established protocols, pursuing their claim for asylum, showing up for court hearings, and posed no safety, no flight risk, and never should have been detained. They also shouldn't be in the country. They entered the country illegally from Ecuador in 2004 using a fraudulent Biden regime criminal invasion app called CBP-1. They made an appointment, present themselves to Customs Border Protection, and share all information with the government. However, the law requires them to be put in detention when they present themselves at border posts claiming asylum, pending a hearing. It was never done. They're not allowed in this country. They should be out. And it's been 2 years, almost 2 years since they entered this country illegally, and they should be removed. Sent back to Ecuador. There's no reason people from Ecuador need to be here. What are you being persecuted in Ecuador for? Nothing. Nothing. The Federal Aviation Administration accepts its failures led to fatal mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport. I guess a cover-up for the incompetent pilot who flew into an American Airlines aircraft. The NTSB found that systemic failures led to fatal 2025 mid-air collision near Washington. Federal Aviation Administration Administrator Brian Bedford said, Yesterday, the agency accepts the findings of the National Transportation Safety Board that a series of systemic failures by the FAA led to the collision. We don't disagree with anything they've concluded in their investigations. Many recommendations have already been put in action. Those that haven't, we're going to evaluate. So it's 100% preventable, said Chairman Jennifer Hominy during the agency's 9-hour probable cause hearing, which capped a year-long investigation. Investigators faulted the FAA for failing to adequately review its own data, indicating elevated mid-air collision risk around the Potomac airspace, and for allowing controllers to rely heavily on visual separation, a practice in which pilots are responsible for seeing and avoiding other aircraft to maintain traffic flow. Wow. They cited staffing and human error in the Reagan National Control Tower. What a horrific night. That was right after Sean Duffy, the day he took over as the Secretary for Transportation. Well, Holden Caulfield, are you here? You've been harping about this story for ages. It's time to talk about it. Extending the New START Treaty, not in national interest. Well, this is an opinion piece. New START, the last treaty limiting the nuclear arsenals of Russia and the U.S., will expire on February 5th. And once it does, there will be no limit on the number of nuclear weapons the U.S. or Russia can field. In September, Russian President Vladimir Putin offered to extend it for 1 year, suggesting U.S. and Russia should maintain the New START limits on operational deployed strategic warheads, but offered little to no further details on what such an extension would entail. His offer is certainly a trap. Russia suspended its New START inspections in 2022, largely due to the U.S. supporting Ukraine's defense following the Russian invasion. In 2023, Russia suspended its participation in the treaty entirely, despite the fact there was no provision in the START for either party to suspend the treaty. In 2024, the State Department noted Russia may have exceeded the New START limit on deployed nuclear warheads. Yeah, so Russia's just fraud, Holden. So you want a treaty that doesn't work to stay in place. Border Czar Tom Holman says more than 145,000 criminal alien children have been located. More than 323,000 immigrants were unaccounted for in the United States during the Biden crooked regime. U.S. authorities have located more than 145,000 illegal immigrant children who were previously unaccounted for under the Biden regime, according to Border Czar Tom Holman. Holman said the findings came as Immigration Customs Enforcement, the FBI, Health and Human Services continue efforts to locate more than 300,000 unaccompanied alien children whom he said had been turned over to unvetted sponsors, lost track of, or weren't looking forward to. Through their outstanding efforts, they've so far been able to locate more than 145,000. Did not provide any details about whether they've been removed from the country. Of those, 323,000, 291,000 unaccompanied minor children, illegal alien children, had not been served court notices, while 332,000 were served notices appearing in court but failed to do so. Trump administration launched efforts to find these human trafficking victims from the Biden regime. Many of the children came across the border unaccompanied were allowed to be placed with sponsors who were smugglers and sex traffickers, says DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Wow. But the folks in Minnesota don't want us to save sexually trafficked and human labor trafficked slaves brought to this country by criminals that the leftists in Minnesota love. They love these people. Well, Lindsey Vohn's dream hangs by a slim edge after a wipeout in reckless decision by authorities to allow officials to allow downhill practice runs in a horrible snowstorm. Several skiers wiped out, including Lindsey Vonn, who has a reconstructed artificial knee, but it's her other knee where she has done damage. She still remains in the competition, but she skipped the final run. Iconic champion skier with the most ever ski competition wins in alpine skiing, Lindsey Vonn sits out the final race before Olympics but remains on track for games after her horrific crash. Lindsey Vonn is sitting out a World Cup Super G race Saturday after crashing and injuring her left knee a day earlier, but remains on track for the Milan Cortina Olympics, she told her coach. Her coach said no, she's not racing today, but preparing for Cortina as usual. Unfortunately, I won't be able to race today, she said on Instagram. Thank you for all the love and support I've received. It means the world to me. Doing my best right now. She crashed downhill in Kranz, Montana, Switzerland on Friday and ended up in the safety nets. After skiing down to the bottom of the course, she was airlifted for medical attention. It still wasn't clear what her injury was. I crashed today in the downhill race in Switzerland, injured my left knee. I'm discussing the situation with my doctors and will continue to undergo further examinations. The 41-year-old is expected to be one of the biggest stars of the Winter Olympic Games, which open Friday. Her first race comes 2 days later in the women's downhill. The Super G was slated to be her final race before the Games. And now she's wiped out. Hopefully she can recover. So here's what's shut down. Here's what's open. Not yet funded. The Defense Department, Education, Health, Human Services, Homeland Security, Housing and Urban Development, Labor, the State Department, Transportation, and Treasury. The State Department's not funded. That could very well potentially affect departure refugees from South Africa. We don't know. Despite the memes, the attacks, the derision, the lies, the censorship that comes also like in South Africa, Melania Trump's documentary rolled to a huge box office success. For a film that arrived wrapped in online mockery and political memes, Melania has managed to outcome few documentaries achieved a strong theatrical debut. The Amazon-backed documentary centered on First Lady Melania Trump is projected to earn $8 million in its opening weekend in the U.S. and Canada, making the strongest opening for a non-concert documentary in over a decade. The figure is significantly higher than earlier projections and places the film well ahead of typical releases in the genre. The performance stands in sharp contrast to the film's digital reception. On social media, Melania has been widely derided as a glossy vanity project, with critics dismissing it as stage-managed and self-promotional. Viral jokes, conspiracy-tinged commentary frame the film as emblematic of Trump-era excesses. Yet the theater turnout tells a different story. Audience data indicates that the film was overperformed in rural and Republican-leaning regions, with states such as Florida, Texas, Arizona driving ticket sales. Nearly half the opening weekend audience reported came from smaller towns and non-urban markets, an unusually high share of a documentary. The demographic profile has been equally distinctive. Viewers were overwhelmingly female, over the age of 55, with many screenings attracting organized groups from conservative and senior citizen communities. For much of this audience, the film appears to function less as a cinematic event and more as a cultural affirmation. The scale of Amazon's investment ensures the box office numbers, though impressive for a documentary, come with qualifications. Yep. There you go. So Melania's film did quite well. Despite the lies, her film did quite well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news for today, the 2nd of February, 2026. How you all doing? All right. Yeah, she was helicoptered. I saw the footage of it. I really wanted her to win a gold medal. It'd be great, especially in the Super G. She's been a stud in the Super G for years. All right, let me go back a ways and see what I missed here. Cecilia Curry, I missed your membership. Thank you for joining. State Control Petrol, always up and down playing with expenses. Yep. And Mad Max, what's this? Something what did Trump did he just do this, or is this old? Oh, the Grammys. Yeah, the Grammys were pathetic. Trevor Noah, what an ass. He told not funny jokes. Also, what's with the Black Supremacy Grammy Awards? Are blacks the only artists? Trevor Noah, every single person he walked in the crowd and identified, except for Justin Bieber, every one of them, and his wife is mixed race. Haley Steinfeld is Jewish and black, but the only person that was white that he talked to was Justin Bieber. Everyone else he went to was black. Jamie Foxx, yada, 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 all these people. The Black Supremacy Awards. Yeah, sorry, not interested. Grammy Awards are fake, just like the Academy Awards, just like all of them. They're all fake. Donald Trump had the following to say on Truth Social about the Grammys. The Grammy Awards are the worst, virtually unwatchable. CBS is lucky not to have this garbage litter their airwaves any longer. The host, Trevor Noah, who he may be, is almost as bad as Jimmy Kimmel at the low ratings Academy Awards. Noah said incorrectly about me that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein Island. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but I've never been to Epstein Island nor anywhere close. And until tonight's false and defamatory statement, have never been accused of being there, not even by the fake news media. Noah, total loser, better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless dope of an MC and suing him for plenty of money. Ask little George Slopadopoulos and others how that worked out. Also, ask CBS, get ready, Noah, I'm going to have some fun with you, President Donald Trump. Nothing will happen. It's comedy, so I mean, he'll be allowed to say it with satire, but no, it's... That's too funny. That's too funny. Nice. Love that. And it's true for anyone that knows their South African history now. There's a legitimate land claim, which most likely will fail. Strategy Tactics documenting. No, I haven't seen it. Thank you for emailing me, Sally. Our family farm was taken by the British, and they were British. Yeah. Hey, Shireen, what's going on? I haven't seen you in ages. I'd rather live in Natal than Johannesburg. I got you. Some states have always allowed felons to vote. That's not just 2020. It's happened for a long time. It's not a claim. It's a fact. And 49 men paid for their lives for that land. Yes, I'm aware of that, Corey. Tricks, thanks for the 28 Rand. You don't maintain, it starts to pain. Transformer, oil needed, purifying, dewater. Yep. No, they want to train them to kill us, okay? And it's backfiring. Yeah, they're all dying there instead. Exactly. You bought the land, so it's legal yours. All Boervolk are transfer free, are recognized by the USA. I believe that's true. Saw a whole mural today driving through Londinium, 2 hands shaking, saw that in Palestine. Angelo, thank you for 14 Rand. Marina Saunders, I didn't see your messages. What were you asking about refugee stuff? This is news. You want to ask refugee now, you can ask them. But not during the news. Amazing how the media have gone silent on genocide in Gaza. Yes, because it isn't real. And it was just a narrative to distract from the ANC's failures, and while it was stealing everything out of the back door. Yep. None have been as delusional as the current Iranian overlords. Where is Arctic? Well, Arctic is missing because he took abuse from someone here, which puzzles me. He's a moderator. He could block them. He could remove them to give him a timeout. But apparently he didn't like what someone said to him, so he just disappeared. And I've asked him to come back, and he's not coming back. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Once again, Angela, thank you for becoming a member. And student, thank you for 21 Rand. Where did you go? Vilma, hello. Moi noi. Hey. Arc Precision Solution. Wow, I'm seeing people I haven't seen in a while on here. This is nice. It's nice to see folks we haven't seen in a while. Tech de Beer. Interesting username. Thank you for USA for existing in my mind when I've otherwise been screwed, says Anton. Okay. Trevor Noah is taking a last look at the USA. Yes, he is. Never let a good tragedy go to waste. Okay, Trevor's the joke. He is. Great Danish Army World War II and World War I. Yep, we have all heard of their exploits. Yep. South Africa's doing a bit of China, Iran, and Russia. Many more. They forget the USA was lenient when South Africa could not pay back their debts. Their new friends will not ask. Ask Namibia. Yep. Ask Zambia. They're all part of the Commonwealth. It's part of the subject of the Crown. Okay. Police doing routine checks on vehicles gets overdosed, as well as only find the handle of drugs. Huh? Overdosed? Costa Rica president's elections went to the right with a landslide vote. Trump should be pleased he's getting Latin America that will work with him. Yep, that's true. Got Argentina. Now got Costa Rica. Yep. Honduras as well. Democrats' fake news media will not report on the drug deaths. Yep. Something is wrong. Okay, what's that? Jelly Roll was hushed off stage when he received his Grammy. The only artist standing up against the woke swamp. I didn't see that. I don't watch the Grammys. Why do you think that they're in Minnesota? Who's in Minnesota, Teeny? Who? ICE? When do we get to discuss Uranium One? You keep wanting to talk about START. I talked about it. Now you want to talk about Uranium One? Stick to one subject, man. You didn't respond to my coverage of the START treaty. Well, the Democrats facilitated that human trafficking of children. They allowed it. Yolanda sent me a WhatsApp on Friday. Okay. All right. No. Unless you have a different name. I have something from a Yolande, but it's not Pinard. I mean, if it's you, then if you use a different name, don't tell me. Oh. All right. Saw a YouTube channel saying they found Jocelyn. Haven't watched it, but they didn't find her mom. So, no, they didn't find her. I doubt that. We love your show. We'd like to meet you one day, says Dion Emsley. Well, that'd be fantastic. Okay. Just 2 minutes ago, by 11, India tariffs dropped 18%. Wow. Wow. Is she doing a newscast right now? Let me go to White House. No. They're not live. No, White House is not live right now. Some states are on the real specific 2020 elections to be best. Well, I agree. So is the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ordering the redistricting be reversed that had been in place for 5 years, 9 months before an election, after people already filed candidacy and spent money and time campaigning in places that aren't even their district anymore. It changed Pennsylvania's composition from 12 Republicans and 6 Democrats to 9 and 9. Completely changed and threw the House into Biden's hands. Yep, the complete change in the House. The difference was Pennsylvania alone and the theft of our elections by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Emailed. Okay, Sally. You just sent this to me 4 minutes ago. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay, got you. Thank you, Sally. Okay. Understand what's going on now. Okay. Someone who's continuously harassing Arctic is the same person as the main cause of the whole Vitboy community living. Really? That's news to me. Why do people act so correctly? I mean, look, if you're pissed off at someone, why don't you just call them out? And why did people play that game when the Vitboy community left that day? And I'm still pissed off at the Vitboy community. You know what? Fine. They don't need to be here acting like children. No, they didn't find Jocelyn. No, it's bullshit. That poor child was chopped up for Muti. No, the Vitboy community didn't really love me. They didn't love me at all. That's a lie. If they loved me at all, they never would have played that game and disappeared. That was childish. It was childish. Very childish. Very childish. First off, they misled me and told me that something was said that was never said. Then they came back and said, no, it was a euphemism. No, it was an Afrikaans. It was none of those things. Then they said the word was typed backwards. Get the story straight. No, whatever. They really love me? No, they didn't love me. They were rude and disrespectful, and they left. I wrote to them and asked what their concerns were, and they still, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that, Rose. I don't know. They don't have to be here, but they also don't have to lie. Well, no, they didn't love me. Because if they loved me, they wouldn't have blamed me for something that they started, that they misled me about, that I never attacked them on. Children. So the Vitboy community not standing for racism translates being childish. Racism and childish, repeatedly asked to send you the proof. Okay, first off, now you're lying, Rose. You repeatedly asked to send the proof, and I declined? I didn't decline anything. What are you talking about? You're just making shit up. I never declined anything. I said, send me this stuff. And nobody sent me anything until later. It wasn't anybody in the Vit community actually sent me screenshots. It was someone else who didn't engage. And the childish part is running off from the channel and blaming me for their interaction. They're the ones interacting with the person. They didn't block the person. The moderators didn't block the person. I was giving the news. So yes, don't start this bullshit. I don't want to fucking hear this shit. Racism is childish. Stop your fucking shit right there. I never said racism is childish. I said the behavior was childish. Get your facts straight. Don't start this bullshit here. This channel is fervently anti-racist and always has been. for people to play that shit game against me because their feelings were hurt because they interacted with someone and they didn't block him is not my fault.
When the rain comes down, it don't mean drown. Just grab your boots and dance around. A little mud never hurt a soul. It's how we grow, yeah, it's how we roll.
The sun's hiding, but it ain't gone. Keep your heart turned on, turned on.
Keep
Smiling, fuck off, racist shitheads, hit the fucking road. Hit the road, fuck off, take your shit elsewhere and fuck along. Oh, 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 racist assholes can fuck off and leave my channel.
Whoa, misery won't stay where joy is strong.
It's a fucking lie, Rose.
When whispers creep in, saying you can't.
You're believing liars.
Just shout louder, drown them out again. Turn the doubts into your fire. Every stumble builds something higher. When shadows linger, light your spark. Don't let them pull you into the dark. Keep smiling, keep shining when the storm tries to steal your song. Keep smiling, keep climbing. Tell the dark clouds they don't belong. Oh, misery won't stay where joy is strong. Oh, misery won't stay where joy is strong.
Rose, I don't know who told you that, but they're liars. I didn't refuse any information. I said, show me. I asked people to show me. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. Or you're complicit in it. Which is it? You want to see me mad? Lie about me. That's what makes me mad. People are pathetic. Always bringing your racial bullshit here. Exactly. Sally was here. What a shit show. I kept asking for the live streams, people to tell me, show me the screenshots. And the only person that sent it to me was a white South African who caught it and sent it to me. A lady. I refuse to accept it. Bullshit. Okay, first off, that doesn't even make sense. Okay, that doesn't even make sense. I refuse to accept it. What did I refuse to accept? Did I block your email account? No. So you send me an email. How could I refuse to accept the email? I don't control the server for Gmail. How do I refuse to accept that email? It's just total bullshit. Total troublemakers. It's a bunch of freaking losers lying about stuff. Yes, Sigi, I wasn't gonna reveal who it was. You were. Son of Bloom says you're handsome when you're angry. Right, Chris, this is not a racist channel. How can I be held responsible for comments when I'm reading the news? I'm analyzing the news. Thank you. You never refused to accept it. We sat here. You were waiting for almost 20 minutes, quite, and kept asking and waiting. Yep. Yes, Sona Bloom, you did make me smile. That was funny. Yep. Yep. And now she's gone quiet. Why'd you go quiet, Rose? Why'd you go quiet? Riff Stars, thank you for 140 rand super chat. Herman Ruas, thank you for 14. Kom terug, Chris, alsjeblieft. No, I'm here. I'm here, Herman. Delia would make me a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. Thank you, though, Delia. It's your birthday, Hetien. Well, we can give you a cake for your birthday. Thank you for the 14 rand, Francois. Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. But thank you. Let's see. Where the heck is... I can't find my birthday. Oh, here we go. Trying to find the birthday cake. There it is. Westhouse says, Jan Kod van Tomkot. Talk dirty to me, Colonel. Ladies and gentlemen, you're responsible with who you engage with, not the Colonel. Yep. Oh, she was given a timeout. I didn't give her a timeout. Don't run off, Rose. I'm not angry at you, Rose. But you're misstating something. You may have been misled. So I allow for that. You may have been misled. I didn't refuse anything. In fact, let me see if I can find my engagement with those folks. So, someone wrote to me, one of the VitBoys, sir, what happened in the live stream earlier on, we were talking about what's being said in the chat. Nobody was talking about you or, I said, I told people who were misleading me that there was no reason to announce a departure, telling me I'm quitting this channel. It's rude and offensive. I was never upset with you or wanted to leave your channel. I'm sorry, I overreacted. I'm really sorry. I actually meant I was just leaving. I said 5 days now, and so you left my channel. Regards. That was on December 20th. So he wrote to me on November 25th. I wrote November 28th after it happened on the 23rd. And then I said on December 14th, I guess you're gone. I said, that's a personal choice. Sorry to see you go. So that was the extent of that. Let me find some others here. I refused. Utter nonsense. Okay. Okay. I just want to let you know that I did not stay away from your program because of your content. Something happened to their family, long hours, went holiday, value input, and time you give, and people were part of it. I must admit, some people in live chats get a bit rude and condescending. Then I decided to stay off the chat for a while, but I still watch the program. Okay, well, thank you for that, ma'am. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. That was January 18th, but I had not heard from that person since November 29th. So I don't know who was saying that I refused anything. I didn't refuse anything. That's a total fabrication. Total fabrication. Okay. Yeah, so... yeah. Anyway, no. I did not refuse anything. That's a fairy tale. Happy birthday to you. Hank obviously said, I've been on America's Pulse channel since early 2020. I've never heard racism, Chris. No, and you never will. Because I'm not. In fact, I take a lot of abuse for standing up for everyone. Dog went outside. Sorry about that, William. Okay. Alana says, have the screenshot. Alana, did you also send them to me? That's not what she said. No, I'm not misunderstanding anything, Phoenix. She said that I refused to take messages from the Vit Boys. That's untrue. That's why I was unhappy. That's untrue. That's simply untrue. If someone told her that, then she's misled. If she's stating that, then she's lying. That's not true. I just went and went to all the messages related to this that I have from anyone named Vitboy. And it was 2 individuals, both of whom I got along with perfectly fine. JJ, thank you for 14 Rand. Well, Alana, then there was Sigi sent me, but she wasn't the only one. Someone else sent them to me too. People sent me, several people sent me stuff about that, and it didn't make any sense. And anyway. Anthony says, you are on the Truth Report, nothing else matters. Thank you. Hey, Charles. I don't know, student. He had 72 hours. There's been no update in the news. I presume he left. Yeah, I asked over and over again. Yep. To get to the bottom of everything. And I didn't get the help. I asked over and over again. I got screenshot during the live stream. I got information. Then afterwards, people sent me information, and I'm like, wait a second, this isn't what people claim. First off, this is how it all started. Somebody in the chat, I looked over and people were arguing in the chat, and somebody said, well, they're leaving. I said, why are you leaving? And because someone used the K word. And so I went back as far as the chat would go, because there's a time limit how far you can go back. It went back about 40 minutes, and there wasn't one use of that word there. And I said, I just looked, there's nothing there. No, it was in Afrikaans. Well, the word is spelled the same in Afrikaans. So I said, no, it's not there. Then they said, no, it was a euphemism. I'm like, there's no euphemism here. Then I was told it was spelled backwards. Yes, I went out of my way to find out what happened, and I wanted to sort it out. And I get punished for it. And here we are, 3 months later, and I'm being falsely accused of refusing to take messages from the Vit Boys. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's not true. It's pure fiction. It's a fabrication. I've already talked about Zoom, the Epstein files, Boervolk. That's fine. I needed to have a little, steam blowing because I've been bottling up a lot of crap dealing with refugee stuff here for the past week. Mike is got surgery. Oh. Anton says, I appreciate your character. No pretense. Open heart. Love you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was all intentional. The whole thing was intentional. Phoenix says, you did anything or I never heard a racist word from you. Some viewers, the problem, they are giving the channel a bad name. Well, the channel doesn't have a bad name. Block them. Why do people not do that? See, people give it a bad name. They do it all the time, but they lie. They lie. You can block people. Was I pale? Oh no, mods weren't here or they were asleep that day. My mods failed big time that day. It's like when I was in South Africa. Remember I did the live and I had on the spot. That's how Mad Max became a moderator and a couple other people. I had all these trolls come in when I was live in South Africa and I was on my mobile phone. I couldn't do anything about it. And so I had to make all these people. Or was it my laptop? Anyway, whatever the case was. Well, congratulations, Marina. Nah, it wasn't a full-on rant. That was just a little bit. Exactly. Why else make a comment like that in stream without being intentional? I agree. Block them. See, this is, look, I don't want to broad brush. I don't want to broad brush color folks because I love color folks and not all people are the same and I'm not going to stereotype them. But I keep getting stabbed in the back by colored South Africans. I do all I can to promote the colored community. I keep getting stabbed in the back. The latest was when I facilitated an interview on Friday. a journalist asked me to facilitate an interview and or put him in touch with Anthony and Elvira. And I reached out to them and they said they're willing to do the interview, but they'd only do the interview if I host it on Zoom. I said, okay, so I'll host it. So I moved my news time on Friday from my broadcast time and interfered with Ronaldo's program to an hour later. I apologize to Ronaldo for that. He didn't know I did that. I moved my news program to facilitate because I thought it's important their story be told. And this gentleman asked me if he could have a copy of the recording. And I said, sure, as long as Anthony agrees. And he wanted the recording to make sure he collected stuff correctly. Only to discover last night that the gentleman took the digits, which, I told him I didn't have time to work on that because I was busy on Friday after the interview. But I found time because I knew he wanted to get his story out. And so I downloaded it. I uploaded it up to WeTransfer. I sent him the WeTransfer link and he downloaded it. And then I understood he needed that recording to make sure he had the correct story. He gave me a link to a media site that was news, not video. So he told me it was for this site. So, okay. So, all right. Then one of the viewers last night said, hey, I saw this interview, an exclusive interview with Anthony and Elvira. Well, I went there. It was my video that I recorded, that I gave to him so he could take notes. And he covered up my face in the top. You can see Anthony and Elvira here. He's down here. And I'm on the other side over here, but I'm covered up. You can even see my name in the window. He didn't ask to do that. He didn't tell me that was his intent. And then he has the audacity to call it an exclusive interview. It's not exclusive. I've interviewed them. So I'm being screwed. And that's not the color community's fault. That's not anything to do with coloreds, but I'm getting screwed by coloreds. Well, I don't know why. Don't know why. Honor. Where did honor go? Where did honor go? Just disappeared somewhere. All right, so look, I don't know what to tell you, folks. So I've just received a message from someone I've never had a contact with before who wrote to me. Actually, they sent me a TikTok on January 25th, but they just sent me a message saying, watch out, the number tried to scam me. It's a 234 number. What did I just do this week? This is why I get so frustrated and annoyed by this stuff. What did I do? I did a short on this yesterday, and people don't watch my content. This is what I did yesterday. I did this short yesterday. Welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. As you can see, it's a bit of snow out here, a little bit chilly. But quick shorts to get you updated on a concern that I've had for over a year. Last year on February 7th, when I went live just 2 hours after President Trump announced his refugee offer to South Africans, I cautioned South Africans about scamsters, tricksters, and fraudsters, and charlatans, verraaiers, leugners, and betrügners. I told you that people would try to take advantages, they'll try to mislead you, they'll try to dissuade you. Again, I'm not asking anybody to participate in this program. I'm also not telling anybody they can't participate in this program. The conditions, the qualification standards for it are clearly mentioned on the U.S. Embassy website at za.usembassy.gov, and you're welcome to go check them out. What I am telling you is the following, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are people trying to mislead you, trying to take your money out of your pocket, trying to dissuade you from leaving in this program if you want to participate in it. One of the latest is people are getting text messages and then taking phone calls from a phone number, some apostle or something like that is the username, something like that, claiming that they are calling them about the program or telling them they've been canceled, that they participate, they weren't approved. Well, the first thing that should tip you off that this is BS is the country code, +234. I received dozens of messages from people saying they received contact from these people, and then people making the false assertion that someone's selling your data from the refugee program. No. People buy data from data aggregators like Google all the time. They make a fortune off of selling your data. When you visit websites, that information is collected. your phone number is associated with. Very simple. And if you're visiting a lot of refugee sites, doing a lot of research on the refugee program, then someone's selling your data that's nothing to do with the U.S. government and nothing to do with RSC. They're not selling your data. That's all being taken care of by a data aggregator like Google or someone like that. So, if you receive a message from a country code 234, you should be leery. Simply block the number. Unless you're in business with Dangote, the billionaire cement manufacturer who owns an oil refinery now, or you're in District 9 filming the next update of that movie with Nigerians, or you're a Nigerian in South Africa, you're probably not going to have any business with anyone in a plus 234 country code. So the bottom line here, folks, is that don't pay any attention to that. Block the number, ignore it. Someone's trying to defraud you. It's not real. There are no people in Nigeria, no people in England, no people in Austria, no people in Mexico, no people in Botswana who have anything to do with this refugee program, either approving you, screening you, nothing whatsoever. Don't fall for it. You're at risk. Be careful out there. These people want to take your money out of your pocket. Cheers. Hello, folks. Welcome back. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I did. Not receiving enough data. What the hell's going on here? What the hell now? Okay, there we go. Okay. Amanda says they're laughing at you because they're getting you angry. No, that's not really angry, Amanda. Again, those who are OGs know me angry. I was having a little fun there. Also, you know, it's fine. They think they're laughing at me, but look at all the love I got from my viewers and all the affirmation and confirmation that that never happened in the way that it was said. So, anyway. How long a timeout was she given? Or did she just leave? I want to hear more from Rose. Pat said, I asked a few times to message you on Telegram. Anyway, I sent the message. Well, Pat's Pat. I just looked in Telegram. I have nothing from anyone called Pat's Pat. And I don't know what your number is. So, I mean, I get so many messages in Telegram. I don't. Wait. Oh, I found it. Oh, it's right at the top. I'll be darned. You just sent it. That's why. Okay. All right. That's cool. Okay. Thank you. Lucky that it was there. Okay. Wow. All right. No, Pat. There's no don't get excited about Durban. That's probably not going to happen. Not a single person can confirm they've actually been interviewed Durban or Port Elizabeth yet. You're welcome, Joe. Where's my article? No, I'm not gonna compound the situation. Pakistan, wow. Your Uncle Nigeria left you $8 million. Yes, Krista, that's the intent. It is intended to disrupt the program. Yep, that is the whole purpose of it. But you see, I'm still here. I haven't quit. I haven't stopped. Me being off the camera was me giving myself a timeout. That's what that was. Gave myself a timeout. But it doesn't matter, Trump County, share the numbers, just anything from Nigeria. Unless you got business with Dangote or you have family, relatives in Nigeria, why are you talking to anybody in Nigeria? 228 million people there, why do you talk to any of them? Now they're all in Nigeria, I'm just saying. So it should be pretty obvious that that's something fishy going on there. Yes, Barbara, I miss Arctic too, but you know, he's not coming back, so. All right, Johan, take care. Have a good night. Sally says, I know you time out yourself. Well, Barbara Harrison, you know, it's a pity that troublemakers get to stay. Well, who are the troublemakers? Call them out. Name them. Name them. Who is Lady Shredder? I don't even know who that is. Johan, I answered that. It just showed the video. Did you not watch and listen to the video? I just showed the video. They buy data from Google and from others. Data aggregators sell your data all the time. Oh, no, I'm not in any social. It doesn't matter if it's social media. You're on a phone. You're on a PC. You have an IP address. You have a MAC address. You visit websites. You do business. You check things. That data is all collected. Your data is valuable and people sell it. They make a fortune selling your data. So I could just give you a picture right now. I want to buy data from people in South Africa who have searched about the U.S. refugee program or Donald Trump more than 100 times in the past 2 months. Boom! Got it. Okay. Dutoy. Okay. Mayabani. Probably not someone who's going to go. Mabalula. Probably not somebody that's going to go. Fundavmeva. Oh, yeah. And they just start calling you. It's cold calling, cold texting. It's like, guys, it's not hard to figure out. They don't have your data. People freak out. That's okay, Johan. You've been a Jehovah's Witness, so vacuum cleaners pretend to be a stair kindergarten. The same number never calls back. Exactly. Oh, Emily Schrader. No, she never came back either. She never came back. She never came back. I did like she said. I wrote to her on WhatsApp. I sent her an email. She offered to come on the program and then never came on. No. People who are connected don't want other people connected. People that have big audiences don't want other people to have big audiences. Nope. I don't know who made Arctic leave. I just know he said he was threatened. So he left. I was unaware he was threatened. That was news to me. Yes, the attack on the family of the White River Police Station. I remember that, Cool Beans. I do. I covered that story. Actually interacted with them at one point, long after it happened. Barbara can hardly call out the troublemakers. You reply back as Interpol. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why people keep worrying about the medicals. Banks sell your data too. Yeah. Well, I didn't know about that, Mark. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. No. Oh, Cool Beans, it's you. Okay. All right. Yeah, I covered that story. Yep. And we did interact at one point. I forget how we interacted. It was on WhatsApp or what it was. Delia said we should do an in-depth interview. Your jaw will drop. Okay. I don't know. I've seen some pretty crazy, horrific things in my lifetime. I don't know if my jaw would drop. Anyway. Yes, that's right, David. I didn't even talk about that. So I went out of my way welcoming another Vitboy family. Mention was made that he was going to meet with their leader. You agreed and also asked for their dog and ended. I also was in touch with the musician who's related to the Vitboys in Namibia and is a descendant of Hendrik Vitboy, and he agreed to come on the program, and then he just went silent on me. I was going to report on the water crisis in Grahamstown, and I had someone that was willing to come on who was a counselor, and then they backed out. But that had nothing to do with me. It had to do with fear for their life. I don't blame them. Why do I keep getting more SMS emails about the fingerprints when I've already done it? I have no idea, JJ Neuhoff. Are they from the correct email? If you've done it already, I don't know. Maybe just the problem is one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. This team is supposed to do this team's supposed to do this, and they don't know what's going on. They can't figure it out. Chugsy, the internet requires thick skin to deal with random people who have absolutely no bearing in real life. Yeah, but they have real bearing on people watching this program. And, yep. Hey, Jory, what's going on? We are a few that do call them out. We won't allow them to tarnish reputation. Well, thank you. Well, it's not my reputation. It's the people leaving the program. I mean, they can lie all they want. They're going to lie anyway. I mean, people are committing criminal injury and defamation of character every single day. Well, I've told people that over and over again, Bitter End. I've told you that you get a phone call from a Kenyan prefix or a South African prefix or even an American prefix that is legitimate for the program. I've said that over and over and over again. Ever since RSC came on board, we've said that. Many calls are routed through the U.S. Embassy switchboard. So someone calls you from Kenya, it gets routed through the U.S. Embassy switchboard. Not all the time, but sometimes. Oh, Delia, that's why your name looked familiar. That's why you're Adelia. That's why your name looked familiar. When I first started seeing your name recently pop up like that, I was like, I think I recognize that name. Yeah, not to worry if you've done it already. Exactly. The Boervolk, well, they've laid a land claim to much of KwaZulu-Natal. Democratic National Committee, 17 million in debt. Wow, I didn't know that. It's impossible to remove your digital footprint. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I use Google to remove my digital footprint. I use services to remove my digital footprint. Good luck with that. Your stuff pops up all the time everywhere. MK Interiors, you're late. I've covered that story. It means the Defense Department's not funded, the State Department's not funded, Homeland Security's not funded, and a host of other things are not funded. Sends an email that contains the numbers they use. They phone me from one of those mentioned numbers. Yeah, that's what I thought they used to do, Johan. Yep. Exactly. That's just perfectly good, because here in America there's a scam where they call you up and they want to change your service and you say yes, because that's just natural for people to do. They call up, yes. Don't do that. Say, I'm going to help you. Or evening, afternoon, and let them start talking. Waiting for approval, okay. App tracking protection, okay. Villy David, I'm fine. Rena van Staden with 99 Rand. Thank you for that. What's going on there? Super chats coming in. All right. You want to change the name? Yeah. Oh, it was declined. I didn't see where that was declined, but he wants to do it. That was the video I was going to make. Now I'm not in the mood to make a video. Rena, thank you for the super chat. So much questions. Hope all folks know how blessed they are to have you help them. Yes, Mark Myberg, you're correct. Moderators make mistakes. That's correct. They do. And that's why I said, I've got to find the dang rules. I can't find them right now. They're somewhere on my drive. I've got multiple drives here. I think it's actually on the drive that's compromised, so I can't find it. If Hendo, if you still got those rules around somewhere or somebody has them, send them back to me in a WhatsApp. Then I can know what the heck I called it and I can look for the document. Carol Hendricks says, color folks are not a monolithic block. Everyone thinks we are. Some are left crazies. Some are like myself, hard writing those between. Thank you for the fifth round, Carol. I agree. And did I not preface my comments a short while ago saying exactly that? I can't stereotype. I can't blame the color community. But I've gotten screwed a lot by colors lately. And I don't know why. I go out of my way to promote the color community. Whether it's CAPSA or the Cape Coloreds or it's the Rehoboth Bosters or it's the Griquas. I go out of my way to talk about colors, about their history, and also Khoi and San. But you are absolutely correct, Carol, 100%. No such thing as a monolith. And that's the danger people get in. Stereotypes have merit because they're based on frequently occurring things, but they don't mean they're accurate. So it's something to be very careful about. But thank you for the super chat, Carol. I appreciate that. No, they're definitely not. Gate McKenzie's not at all like the Vit Boys. The Vit Boys are not at all like Carol. Yep. We wait every day for the call, but also we do, as said, carry on with life. Yep. Remember conversations very well, but suck at dates and names. That's why I didn't choose history. Yeah, I get you. I get that. Ian thinks it's a good thing that they change the names because now they're just a disaster and you remember the proper name for when the town function. It's interesting because I watched Hatari again the other night. First time I've seen that in years with John Wayne and Hardy Kruger and Red Buttons. Great movie. And you'll never see another movie like that again because they actually hunted the animals. I mean, they weren't guns. They were capturing, live capture. They captured rhinos. They captured zebra. They captured giraffe. Captured Cape Buffalo. They did this. Not only did they do it, but it was the actors themselves. The director insisted the actors do it, no stuntmen. So that was actually John Wayne riding on the front of that vehicle, strapped in, trying to lasso a giraffe. It was actually him. Fantastic. Ali Chevelle says 140 rand. Thank you for the 140 rand super sticker. It was actually them. Yeah, so what a great movie. But now you can't do that. You're not allowed to hunt animals like that because of the stress, the fear, whatever. You're not allowed to do that. So that's the last time you'll ever see that in that movie from Atari. But I watched Atari the other night. I forget why I started talking about that. But yeah, great flick. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. So Atari, you see the streets of Arusha, where I've been several times. The streets of Arusha were full of Indians and full of whites and black Africans. When I went there, the times I went there, almost entirely black Africans. The Indians are gone. The whites are eliminated from the picture, the tableau. Yeah. Mandami's changed New York to a South African township rubbish dump. Being wrong is my way of agreeing with people who are wrong. I like how you said that, Mark. That's funny. Guys, to the point where we get departure date, we only need to sign a few documents and we'll have some money for our new start in USA. Honest opinion about the social media landscape next year with the new found ANC. It's just going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Yeah, no, moderators make mistakes. Again, and not to pick on him, but my first moderator ever was Kyle Green, ZA. I haven't seen Kyle in ages. He did pop up on the channel after a couple years, but I haven't seen him since. Kyle came on the program, and I hadn't set rules yet. Or did I set the rules? I think maybe I set the rules. Yeah, I think I set the rules before I ever had any moderators because I didn't know what to expect. I don't know if he claimed New York's bankrupt. That's news to me. I didn't see that. It wasn't reported in the news. I think I established. Anyway, Kyle Green was the first moderator I ever had in the program. I think Hendo was the second. I could be mistaken, but I think that's the case. Anyway, Kyle Green, Amanda DeBeer, thank you for the 21 rand. The Pussycat, yes. Your first super chat. Thank you so much for that. So he came on the program, and he didn't agree with what people were saying in chat. They didn't say anything bad. They weren't using profanity. They weren't being abusive. They weren't being combative. They weren't trolling. He just didn't like what some people said. So he would just delete their messages, give people timeouts. And it was very disruptive. And I said, no, let's not do that. I said, no. And I restored people. And he didn't like it, so he left. Hendo removed someone, and I thought he was over-aggressive in 2020. And I restored that person, and I explained why. And Hendo's feelings weren't hurt, and Hendo didn't leave. Hendo's still here. And Hendo said it's Chris's channel. It's his decision. That was very adult of Hendo. That's one reason why I respect the guy immensely. Also, let's be honest. Hendo's just dead sexy. Who wouldn't love Hendo? Come on, guys. Give it up for Hendo. No, but seriously, so, and I'm not picking Kyle Green. I'm just giving an example where a moderator overstepped the bounds and then didn't like the fact that I righted the ship. All right, so there you go. Cool Beans says, it amazes me how the stupid questions about coming back to South Africa. People have no idea what there actually means to fleeing. Yeah, no. I don't. People are asking about coming back to South Africa. Obviously don't understand what being a refugee is. I suppose if they had to flee to Botswana and live in a camp, they would get the point. Yeah, no, Sally, you did admit it. Yep. There's just one way, it's the right way, and there's no gray areas. Yeah, why go back if you fear for your life? Exactly. Hendo has a lovely shiny bald head. Well, but that's Kwadasi. That's a dangerous statement. You're saying the buck stops the channel, which means I'm responsible for everything. Yes, I am. But holding me responsible for something that occurs in the chat when people dispute with each other that I don't see, and you don't tell me who does it. I say, why did people beat around the bush that day? Why didn't you just say who did it? Instead of having, well, somebody said this, then, oh no, it was written backwards. Oh no, it was in Afrikaans. Why don't you just tell me who said it and when they said it? Not to pick on I'll pick on somebody that's got a thick skin. Well, I'll pick on you, Kwadasi. Kwadasi at 12:53 said something that was inappropriate. Okay. Ooh, you're right. Remove. Serious. Timeout. Obnoxious. Block from the channel. Simple as that. But that's not what happened that day. That's not what happened. I tried over and over again to get answers. And people play games with me. Thank you for your news and input in the world. It's always good to see honesty. Thank you for that, Whale Source. Don't only burden you as taxpayer and a burden on the country that's helping us with safety and security. Chris, have you listened to some Afrikaans music? Do you have a favorite? I have an entire Afrikaans playlist on my channel. It amazes me people don't find things on my channel. Okay, let me go put my channel up. Your channel. Okay, here we go. Not much recently. I haven't listened to much Afrikaans music recently, but new music. But let me see. Playlist. Where are my playlist? Here we go. I had to rebuild this playlist too. Or is it just on the other channel? Let me see. No, here it is. Chris's Afrikaans Treffers 2022. View the full playlist. All right, so here you go. This is on my channel right there. Okay. Brendan Piper. Je laat dit makkelijk like. Kurt Darren, Klein Zaterdag. Rika Snell, Boer Pompey featuring Snotkop. Dirk and Bobby, Dis vat ons wil Rikus, Adam Toss, Bok van Blerk, Referenza, Hardekol, Steve, Bobby, Bok, Jan, Jay and Ruhan, Dilant, Jane Leani May, Siek Verlief, Taryn Lamb, Mal Oyo, and one of my favorite all times, Taryn Lamb, Vier Woorden. Francois van Kok and Karen Zoid, Kurt Darren, Kalfatsoki, Jane Leani May, Da Fatai, Juanita Duplessis, Gaan Goed, Ron Joss and Franny Duplessis, Ek Vileva, Bobby van Jaarsveld, Kurt Darren, Dirk van de Westhuizen, Vierwerke, Jeesland die wind in my sail. Ah, you're the wind in my sails. That's one of my absolute favorite. That chick in there is such a hottie. One of my favorite songs. Mare as in Melody, Juanita Duplessis, Kurt Darren, Yes and Legend, Franny Duplessis, Ek kan nie opkyk. I love that song. Brendan Piper, Twee is better as een. Liesel Peters, Asamlos, Snotkop, Kusus Kus Kombois, Brendan Piper, Stop Vag and Blok and Biki, Bok van Blerk, Sing Afrikaner Sing, Brendan Piper, Tafelberg Vetvi, Joe Foster, Padna Johart, Caroline van Jaarsveld, Geskierte Jeans, My Hartkeep from Caroline van Jaarsveld, Gerhard Steen, Afrikanza, Maisies, Rian Nell, Via, Elvis for Sisson, Villiers, My Arms Le Fanant, Brendan Piper, Die Perfekte Ein für mij. Die Kapline, Bok van Blerk. Moi, Sandra Prinsloo, with Elvis Sisson. Tied to Trek, Bok van Blerk. Robbie Wesels, Macarena Mambo. Joe Black, Voljaar de Grenade. Joe Black, Bring Woop die weer terug. Dirk van de Westhuizen, Net Zo. Dirk van de Westhuizen, Spol mij af. Steve Hofmeyer, Die Stem wat blijft staan. That's the only one I can play that is not a copyright strike. This one I can play. It's not a copyright strike. Look how slow YouTube is.
Die stofpad is lang, maar ons kom van ver. Om te staan in die lucht, fijne zuiderster. Die saal is gepak, die atmosfeer laai. Ons wacht vir die oomblik, laat die muziek nou waai. Mense van heinde oor die vlaktes en berg, vir 'n man wat sy siel in elke noot verberg. Om te hoor sing, om hier te sien, dis die tipe respek wat 'n legende verdien. Van die sippies se story groot verhoog, het jy ons laat huil en laat glo. Agter elke man tot die diepste treurkrom, dis jou voetspore vas op hierdie grond. Stuur jy sy stem, die man van die dag, 'n rots
jou woorde.
Vind ons krag, 'n legende wat skyn in die donkerste nag.
Steve Hofmeyer.
Hulle gooi dalk die klippe, die woorde is vuil, omdat jy die waarheid onbeskaamd vertel. 'n letterkundige gees met 'n pen in die hand. Jy skryf vir die siel van ons dierbare land. Beginsel vas teen die stroom en bly staan. Van die dae van Bruce tot in 7de laan. Dekades se passie, dekades se vuur. Jy gee alles vir ons, uur na uur. Ja, van Sippie se storie groot verhoog. Het jy ons laat lag, laat huil en laat glo. Agter elke man tot die diepste treurkrond. Is jou voetspore vas op hierdie grond. Stuur jy die stem, die man van die dag. 'n rots in die storm, 'n vriend en 'n maat vir die taal, vir die volk. Staan jy onbevrees, waar ander bly stil bly, sal jy die een wees. Oeh, Steven, jou woorde vind ons krag, 'n legende wat skyn in die donkerste nag. Laat die wêreld maar raas, laat die kritiese praat. Al ken jy die hart van 'n man van sy staat. Hy's meer as akteur, hy's meer as gesang. Hy's die stem van 'n volk wat na vryheid verlang. Steve, jy's die stem, die man van die dag. 'n rots in die storm, 'n vriend en 'n maat vir die taal, vir die volk. Staan jy onbevrees, waar ander bly stil bly, sal jy die een wees. Oeh, Steven, jou woorde vind ons krag, 'n legende wat skyn in die donkerste nag. Steve Hofmeyer, die legende, en woord en daad vir ons.
Yeah, so that one I can play because that's my song. I have no musical talent, but I use my AI for that. So I'll give you the link to the playlist. Here's the playlist of the music I compiled a few years ago. I haven't done a new one. I probably need to do a new one. It's been a while. But here's the playlist for anybody that's interested in the playlist. Okay, that's the playlist. So you can make a bookmark for that and go to it. Yeah, Steve, he is a legend. Yep, a legend. Yep. Okay. Would like a YouTube function where you can just click on a person's name, reply, or send a public chat. Yeah, YouTube's probably not going to do that. Thank you, Candace. And Kathy wrote a song for me. Kathy, you write a lot of songs. I haven't checked. Okay. Will sent it back to me. Thank you, Will. There you go. That's what it is. Thank you very much. Down there it is. Chris Wyatt's moderator guidelines. There we go. Thank you so much for that, Will. I knew somebody had it. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I wrote this in July 2020. So it was after I already had a moderator because I think I had Kyle Green before that. So I could be wrong. Or maybe it was when I wrote it. I think I wrote this before, but I don't know 100%. So here's what the rules were. Okay, all moderators must provide a contact and valid email address so that the content creator may contact them. The role of the moderator is voluntary, but an especially important one. Therefore, I value moderators and their assistance in keeping the chat clean, engaging, and informative. Moderators can restrict chat activity. This includes deleting messages, placing user in timeout for varying lengths, or you may hide a user from the chat message feed or comment section on my channel. I highly value discourse, but I do not want or tolerate abuse. Moderators may use any of the three actions listed above to discipline bad behavior. Examples of bad behavior include, but are not limited to, abusive comments towards anyone. Be careful not to conflate discord with abuse. Disagreeing with someone's not abuse. Abusive comments include slurs, name-calling, not in jest or a result of good-natured ribbing going both ways, but even in jest, this should be rare. Racist or discriminatory epithets, belittling other participants or the host. Abusive behavior, intentionally disrupting the flow of the chat to distract or diminish the quality of discourse among participants. Intentionally interfering with the stream by trolling with wholly unrelated comments. For example, a stream with Marlies about being an au pair is not the time for comments about U.S. politicians. Such behavior ruins the event for all and will not be tolerable. Taunting or bullying viewers, chat participants, guests, or the hosts are also abusive behaviors. Inappropriate sexual relationship chat should also be removed. The channel is not a dating service or anything remotely related. Excessive distracting behavior. Many folks, like Christian Paradago, are cheeky in social media. We can all be forgiven the occasional cheeky moment, but some bad actors are attention-seeking to the point of distracting. Dogzilla. I reserve the right to overrule moderator actions should I deem it excessive or if there is value added in restoring a comment or participant. Moderators must acknowledge this prerogative and agree to contact the content creator if the moderator feels I've missed something and unfairly or inappropriately overruled them in the chat. Obviously, this can only occur after a live stream. The moderators have great power and fulfill a valuable role. Consequently, I will not ignore their input. We can discuss issues from live streams when they're over. My goal is an interactive community of viewers and participants. Obviously, I cannot run the stream and police all behavior. Consequently, moderators are invaluable in helping keep this a valuable channel. But the responsibility is to protect the streaming content. The role is not to control the flow of ideas. All moderators can post links to videos or other appropriate content. I ask that folks be judicious with this privilege. One especially useful method of employing this is when the host references past or upcoming video and streams. Another is to share social content that's appropriate, like Mad Max does. Any moderator who feels they are marginalized should contact me to discuss the issue. I need good moderators, and I will do my best to keep the experience worth your time and energy. There you go. That is what I put together in 2020, almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. Yep, thank you for that, Wills. Appreciate that. And Will said it's a guideline, not set in stone. Time out for Wills. Patri, you're welcome. Well, that's what my writers have. Now, some of them don't have it. I think May's never got those rules, so she kept asking for them, but I couldn't find them, so I apologize for that. But anyway, yeah. Johan, in short, just be polite. Have manners. Exactly. No, that's the right voice for that song. That's perfect for that song. That's one of my ones I'm most happy. That and trade in the on card for the trump card. It's so cheeky and funny how the pause just stops in the song. Yeah, no, those are two of my favorite songs, period. Not just Afrikaans, but period. Yep. You can really get very upset when people get you wrong. Why would they say so? You are an open person. I don't know, Yolan. It's just nasty stuff. Look, I'm not accusing Rose of being nasty. I'm just saying that what she said is factually incorrect. She said I refused to take any messages from the Vit boys. I did, but they didn't send me anything. I asked. They didn't send me anything. Yeah, you were going to tie me out on the channel. No, that wouldn't have ended up well. All right, I think that's enough, guys. We've gone for over 2 hours. Yep. Yeah, I think the voice is perfect in that. Anyway, Holden is talking about political stuff right now. Anyway, thank you all so much. Yeah, the mental world we live in. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, so again, people thought that I was angry earlier. No, I was making a point. I don't need racist BS on this channel. Yeah, Patria, you're a rock star. You and the other Myberg. Mark. Anyway, have to run to work. Yeah, well, I've got to get back doing something. Dog said can be charming to others in the chat, but then he's always undercutting the colonel. It's frightening. No, he's just a rude ass is what he is. He's rude, and he's a troll. And, you know, I've been very patient with him, but he's going to get blocked eventually. He's going to get blocked eventually. Yep. All right, you guys take care. Thanks for being here. Cheers. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Would you like me to say it louder, Mark? I can say it louder. I was trying not to out you.
Pack your bags, leave the cape behind. There's a brand new horizon for us to find. From the streets of Joburg to the Pretoria Sun, a new chapter starting and it's just begun. It's not Santon, baby, and it's not Margate. We're trading the reef for the Lone Star State. No JRU or the South Fork crew, just a red, white, and blue welcome waiting for you. From Bosnia's hills to the Botswana sand, he's carried the fire all across the land. A life for the flag, for the faith, for the free. Now he's opening the gates for you and for me. Oh, get ready for the colonial's Texas meet and greet, where the Sappers and the Patriots all dance in the street. Under the eagle's wings, where the spirit flies high, underneath that big old Dallas sky, it's camaraderie, it's liberty, it's a brand new day. South Africa, welcome to the USA. You've been through the fire, you've stood the test. Now come find your peace in the heart of the West. No more looking back at the shadows and gloom. In the land of the brave, there is plenty of room. Grab a plate, grab a hand, feel the Texas heat. There's a whole lot of love at this meet and greet. The colonel is coming